There's a voice inside every trader. It starts quietly whispering that one more trade won't hurt, that you can fix it, that you can make it back. And slowly that whisper becomes a habit until you no longer trade the market, you trade your emotions. We call it overtrading. But beneath that word lies something deeper, a psychological loop of hope, fear, and the illusion of control. It's not about charts or setups, it's about the mind behind them. Because in trading, you don't just face the market, you face yourself. And the greatest skill you can ever learn is knowing when to stop. This is the three-strike rule, a simple boundary, a psychological circuit breaker, a discipline system designed to protect your peace, your capital, and your mind. If you've ever felt trapped in the cycle of overtrading, if you've ever asked yourself, why can't I stop? Then this message is for you. Take a breath, slow down, and let's begin. You don't lose money because you don't know how to trade. You lose money because you don't know when to stop. You've seen it before. You take a trade. It's small, clean. It works. You feel the rush. Then you take another. It's not part of your plan, but you feel confident, even powerful. And when that one loses, your chest tightens. You say to yourself, it's fine. I'll get it back. One more trade. And before you know it, your calm, disciplined plan has turned into emotional chaos. That, my friend, is the cycle of overtrading. It's not a technical problem. It's not your strategy. It's your psychology. Your brain hijacked by emotion chasing control it can't have. Overtrading is not a habit. It's an addiction, a craving, a need to feel in control when you've lost it. And the more you trade to feel better, the worse it gets. You start to justify. I see a setup. I've studied this pattern before. It's still part of my plan, kind of. But deep down, you know what's really happening. You're not trading the market anymore. You're trading your emotions. The truth is uncomfortable we overtrade, not because we want more profits, but because we want relief. Relief from the fear of missing out. Relief from the pain of loss. Relief from the silence of waiting. Every trader wants control. But in the markets, control is an illusion. And overtrading is the brain's desperate attempt to take that illusion back. Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk. You've had a losing morning. You're down a little, nothing major. You could walk away. But something inside you whispers, don't end the day red. Come on, you can fix this. And so you do what your logic says not to. You click, you enter, you size up. And just like that, the market takes more, not just your money, but your calm. What just happened? You didn't break your plan because you're reckless. You broke it because your brain's reward system, the same system that controls addiction, took over. When you win, dopamine floods your brain. It feels good, too good. Your mind records that feeling as something to chase. When you lose, that dopamine crashes and your brain starts screaming for balance. Get it back, it says. And the fastest way to get it back, take another trade. But dopamine doesn't care about your account. It only cares about feeling good again. That's why traders often describe overtrading like a blackout. You know you shouldn't, but your hands move before your mind can stop them. You're no longer executing a plan. You're acting out a compulsion. Overtrading is also a form of ego defense. You see, when you take a loss, your identity takes a hit. You start to question yourself, your skill, your worth, your future. And your ego, the part of you that cannot accept being wrong, fights back. It whispers, you can fix this. You're better than that. And so you keep trading not to make money, but to repair the story you tell yourself about who you are. That's why revenge trading feels so satisfying. At first you think you're regaining power, but in truth you're just feeding the ego's need to feel right, even as your account bleeds out. Every click is not a trade. It's a statement, a desperate, I'm still in control. But that's the biggest lie a trader can tell themselves, because The more you try to control the market, the less control you have over yourself. And then there's the illusion of control, that subtle, dangerous belief that the next trade will fix everything. You convince yourself that you see the setup. You justify it with logic. You tell yourself that this one is different. But deep down, it's not logic driving you, it's emotion. It's your brain saying, if I can just get one win, I'll feel okay again. If I can just fix this, everything will go back to normal. But the markets don't care how you feel. They never did. They only reflect what's already inside you. If you're emotional, the market will expose it. If you're impulsive, the market will magnify it. If you're desperate, the market will punish it. You can't trade your way out of a bad state of mind. You can only stop and reset. That's where the 3-strike rule comes in. It's not just a rule to stop trading, it's a psychological circuit breaker, a line in the sand between discipline and destruction. But before you learn to use it, you have to accept one truth. You will never eliminate emotion from trading. You can only learn to recognize it before it controls you. And that's what most traders never do. They keep adjusting their strategy, their indicators, their entries, but they never adjust their state of mind. That's why even the best systems fail, not because they don't work, but because the trader behind them breaks down. You don't need another setup. You need a system for your psychology, a rule that keeps you in check when your brain goes rogue. That's the 3-strike rule. And once you understand how it works, you'll never see trading the same way again. The market does not reward activity. It rewards awareness. And awareness begins with boundaries. Boundaries that protect you from the part of your mind that always wants more. That's why the 3-strike rule exists. It's not about punishment. It's about preservation. It's a quiet agreement between you and your future self that when emotion takes over, you will choose to stop before the damage begins. Let's break it down. Strike 1. The first sign of emotional drift. You enter a trade outside your plan. It might be small, maybe harmless, but deep inside something feels off. This is not about money yet. This is about awareness. Strike 1 is the whisper. It says, wake up. You're slipping. When strike 1 happens, you don't judge yourself. You breathe. You write down what you felt, what you saw, what you told yourself. You don't fix it. You observe it. Because reflection interrupts impulse. Strike 2. The second time you break your plan. Now emotion has entered the room. Maybe frustration, maybe excitement, maybe that quiet pressure that says, I can't end the day like this. This is where the average trader accelerates. They fight back, they push harder, they double size. But the professional pauses. Strike 2 means step away, 15 minutes, no charts, no screens. You walk, you breathe, you detach. Because the mind, when heated, cannot see clearly. When you pause, you cool the circuits. You remind your brain that you are not in danger. No one is chasing you. No one is judging you. You are safe to stop. That small act, walking away, is one of the strongest demonstrations of control a trader can ever show. Not control over the market, control over self. Strike 3, the final boundary. If you reach it, you stop trading for the day. No exceptions, no negotiations. Strike 3 means your system is no longer in control. Your emotions are running the show. Continuing would not be trading, it would be gambling with your discipline. At strike 3, you don't analyze, you don't review, you don't blame. You shut it down. You protect your capital, but more importantly, your confidence. Because the real account you're protecting is not the one with money in it. It's the mental account that stores your belief in yourself. When that account is empty, no amount of profit can refill it. Most traders think discipline is about saying no, but true discipline is about creating space between impulse and action. The 3-strike rule creates that space. It forces you to slow down just enough for awareness to return. Each strike is a mirror. It shows you where emotion starts to override logic. Over time, you begin to see patterns, your triggers, your stories, your excuses. You start to notice that overtrading isn't random. It follows a script written by your fears. Some traders realize their first strike always happens after a small win, when confidence becomes euphoria. Others find it happens after boredom, when the silence of the market feels unbearable. And some find it after loss, when the need to fix the story becomes stronger than the need to trade well. Awareness is freedom. You can't change what you don't notice. Let's go deeper. Why does this rule work so powerfully? Because it speaks directly to the nervous system. Your body reacts to trading the same way it reacts to threat. Heart rate rises, breathing shortens, vision narrows. You think you're thinking, but your brain has already switched to survival mode. The three-strike rule interrupts that cycle. It trains your brain to recognize emotional overload and disengage before it becomes self-destruction. Over time, your body learns that stopping is safe, that pausing does not mean failure, that walking away is not weakness, it's mastery. Every time you honor that boundary, you rewrite your identity. You go from a trader who can't stop to a trader who chooses to stop. That subtle shift changes everything. You might ask, but what if I stop too soon? What if the next trade would have been the one? That's the voice of scarcity, the voice that believes opportunities are limited. But the truth is, there's always another trade tomorrow. There's never another you. If you burn your focus, your calm, your confidence today, you won't be ready for tomorrow's opportunity anyway. The three-strike rule teaches patience through protection. There will be days when you hit strike one early. You'll feel frustrated. You'll think, I can handle it. I don't need this rule today, but that's exactly when you need it most. Rules aren't for when you feel strong. They're for when you feel tempted, because temptation is invisible until it wins. Every professional has boundaries. Athletes have rest days. Pilots have checklists. Surgeons have protocols, not because they're weak, but because they know how fragile focus can be. Why should trading be any different? The difference between an amateur and a professional isn't knowledge, it's emotional management. The amateur lets emotion dictate performance. The professional builds systems to manage emotion before it starts. Each strike is a lesson in humility. It reminds you that perfection is not the goal, awareness is. You can't win every trade, but you can win every day you respect your boundaries. When you finish a day with discipline intact, even if you're down money, you've gained something far more valuable, trust in yourself. That trust compounds faster than any return, because when you trust yourself to stop, you also trust yourself to act. You move without fear. You wait without anxiety. You trade with clarity. So the next time you feel the urge, the impulse to click, to chase, to get it back, remember you have a choice. Strike one, strike two, strike three. 3 chances to return to awareness. 3 signals to protect your edge. 3 opportunities to prove to yourself that you're different from who you used to be. The market will always tempt you to overtrade, but your power lies not in resisting temptation once it lies in recognizing it every time and still choosing discipline. Because mastery is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to act in spite of it. That is what the 3-strike rule teaches. It's not a trading system, it's a mirror that reflects who you become when pressure rises. And when you look into that mirror long enough, you start to see the trader you were always meant to be. The moment you decide to stop trading after strike 3, that is not weakness. That is strength. It's the quiet kind of strength that doesn't shout, that doesn't need applause, that doesn't care about being right. It's the strength of self-respect. Every trader wants to win, but not every trader is willing to protect themselves from their own impulses, because doing so requires honesty, the kind of honesty that hurts. You have to look at the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore, the fear of missing out, the greed disguised as confidence, the anger you feel when the market doesn't obey you. You have to admit that sometimes the enemy isn't volatility, it's you. When you begin to practice the three-strike rule, you'll notice something subtle. At first it feels restrictive, like a cage. You'll hate it. You'll want to break it. Your ego will say, "I'm better now. I can handle it." But if you stay with it long enough, you'll see it's not a cage at all. It's a guardrail. It keeps you from driving off the cliff of emotion. And one day something beautiful happens. You'll hit strike two, and you'll stop naturally, calmly, without resistance. No inner fight, no justification, just awareness. That moment is growth. That's when the rule stops being a rule and becomes a reflex. That's when you know your mind is beginning to evolve. Trading has a strange way of revealing who we are. Every chart is a mirror. Every loss is a lesson in humility. Every pause is an act of maturity. The market doesn't just test your strategy. It tests your patience, your honesty, your self-trust. And for most traders, that's where the real war begins, not between you and price action, but between who you are and who you want to become. If you overtrade, it's not because you're broken. It's because you're human. You've been wired to seek control, to chase certainty, to avoid pain. The three-strike rule retrains that wiring. It teaches your nervous system to find safety in stillness. It reminds you that silence can be profitable, that waiting can be powerful, that stopping can be success. Think about it. Every time you stop after strike three, you're building a new identity, one decision at a time. You're becoming the kind of trader who doesn't need to prove anything, the kind who doesn't let a red day destroy their peace, the kind who trades less but earns more, not just in money, but in mental freedom. You start to understand that trading isn't about predicting the market. It's about managing yourself while the market does what it does. You stop trying to control outcomes. You start mastering reactions. And slowly the chaos fades. The three-strike rule is not really about three mistakes. It's about three awakenings. Strike one, awareness. You notice emotion rising. Strike two, control. You intervene before it takes over. Strike three, surrender. You let go and you walk away. Awareness, control, surrender. Three acts of emotional intelligence. Three pillars of psychological mastery. This is not just trading psychology. This is human psychology. This is how you lead yourself through pressure, temptation, and pain in markets and in life. Because life in many ways is the same as trading. You can't control the outcome. You can only control your process. You can't avoid loss. You can only choose how you respond to it. You can't win every day, but you can win the moments that matter, the moments when you choose to stay calm, aware, and grounded. The markets are not testing your strategy. They're testing your self-mastery. And when you pass that test, you stop chasing trades and start cultivating presence. You become the observer instead of the reactor. You trade less, but you see more. You wait longer, but you move faster when the time is right. You stop seeking excitement and start finding peace in patience. That's the paradox of mastery. The less you need the market, the more it gives you. So the next time your emotions start to whisper just one more trade, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this the market calling me or my emotions? Remember the rule. 3 strikes. Not as punishment, but as protection. Because you don't rise as a trader by doing more. You rise by doing less with more intention, by trading fewer setups but with sharper focus, by valuing your mental capital as much as your financial one. That is the essence of trading psychology. Not eliminating emotion, but understanding it so deeply that it no longer owns you. There's a quote I love: discipline is remembering what you want. Every time you stop at strike 3, you're remembering who you're becoming. A trader who acts with patience, a mind that no longer reacts to every tick of the market, a person who values peace over impulse. And if you stay on that path, you'll discover something profound. You'll stop chasing profits, and profits will start chasing you, because discipline creates consistency. Consistency builds trust, and trust, that quiet confidence that you can follow your own rules, is what separates survivors from masters. So the next time you trade, remember this: the three-strike rule is not a limit, it's liberation. You are not your mistakes. You are what you do after them. Stop overtrading. Start mastering yourself, because when you master the mind, you master the markets. The market will always test you. It will push you to your limits. It will expose every weakness you try to hide. But it will also show you the path to patience, to awareness, to mastery. The three-strike rule is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about choosing discipline when your emotions demand chaos. It's about remembering that your greatest trade will never be with money. It will be with your own mind. So take this rule with you, not as a restriction, but as a promise that no matter how loud your emotions get, you'll choose calm. You'll choose awareness. You'll choose control. Because in the end, trading is not about beating the market. It's about becoming someone the market can't beat. This is mind over markets. And this is where your transformation begins.